Right, so let's get down to business. Okay, so let me just adjust something here. Okay, right. This is the weekly chart for ES. Okay, now what am I looking for next week? I want to see if price is able to attack the south side right down here. And why is that so? Because if you look at this fair value gap here, this is a bullish fair value gap. The price closed below it despite coming back up above it. Okay, so right now this is more like a balanced price range. I would much prefer to see price um, find resistance here. Okay, now before I continue, just keep in mind that we're in the month of August. Price action may be lethargic and unwilling to move. So just keep that in mind moving forward. Okay. So my next draw on liquidity obviously would be this sell side here and maybe even this sell side. Right. This sell side is more probable because we would be reaching into the monthly time frame. This monthly bullish fair value gap right here. Okay. Now I like this fair value gap as a entry to take out the all-time highs. That is what I'm anticipating for ES. All right. Now let me, yep. So all-time highs, and then right here would be our monthly bullish fair value gap. And let me remove this to make things a little bit clearer. Okay, so that's the main draw on liquidity for um, the monthly candle. Okay. So what am I expecting when we reach down here is that we maybe, right, I'm looking for price to trade higher to take out all-time highs. On the daily time frame, okay, as you can see, the price is quite lethargic last week. So expect this type of price action during the month of August, right? And then, other than this sell stops, I would like to note down the midpoint of this level here, the consequent encroachment of this daily wick right here. That will come in around 45 and 19. 45, 19. So now preferably price does not trade above this consequent encroachment. Okay, of daily wick. Preferably does not trade above, and I would like to see this order block hold price, right? But because if you compare the Nasdaq and ES was not that willing to move lower. Okay, which means Nasdaq it's the leadership in bearishness for now, right? So just keep in mind of that, right? And I think that's it for ES. Nothing really much, except for this draw on liquidity, right? And let's move on to NQ. NQ, we have nicely tapped into the monthly BC. All right. So what am I looking for next would be this sell side right here. On the monthly chart, right here, obviously we have this lower monthly fair value gap here. I would much prefer this area to be an entry for Nasdaq to move higher. Okay, so why here? Because we have a breaker right here on a weekly time frame. So let's head over to the weekly time frame. You have the breaker here. Low, high, lower low, and then price closing and trading above this high here. So this green candle right here, I would take it as a breaker. Okay, over here we do have a balanced price range as well, right? So I would like to see this used as support, okay, to go higher, right? And mm, it falls in nicely with this fair value gap right here on the weekly time frame, which will be below the sell side right here. And on the daily time frames, that's your relative equal lows, right? Moving forward into September, I am expecting this to be attacked. Okay, so moving over to the daily, there you see the equal lows, right? I really like this setup here. I mean this drawn liquidity. Okay, using the fibs, draw the extension down. Overextending would be right here, but around 2.5, that is where we would usually find some form of retracements. Okay, and even reversal. So let's see if this is enough, like fully closing in the monthly BC, taking out this sell stops, coming right back into this order block here, and then higher. That is possible as well, right? But personally, I would prefer if price can take out this low here as well. Okay, so that's my bias for equities. Let's move on to the XY. Right, for DXY, as anticipated and as expected, we have traded above this fair value gap, right? Confirmation that price is going to take out the highs here, here, and maybe even here. Why here? Because we have a monthly BC as well as this swing high here. So that is a very nice target for dollar. Right, as you can see here, overall dollar is still in a bullish order flow, right? Respecting this monthly BC here, right? And if you were to use the breaker as well, right here is the breaker, low, high, low, low, trading above the high that made this low. So this up close candle here is the breaker, and as you can see, it just falls short of filling it, right? Almost digging into it, but if you look at the closing price of last month, it's above the mean threshold, so everything's still okay for dollar to move higher. Okay, right. So that's for the weekly time frame, and bias would be bullish for DXY. And if I'm bullish for DXY, obviously that is going to cap the equities in going higher. Okay, and as well as the other foreign currencies. Right. So next, let's hop over to Bitcoin. Bitcoin lethargic price movements, right? If you compare this right here versus this right here, you can see the difference. Okay, so Bitcoin, I'm still looking for 32, right? It can drop low into this breaker and this bullish on the block, but I would like to see this swing low not taken out. Okay, that's my short-term invalidation for Bitcoin, right? On the monthly time frame, nice closure as well. Nothing much from here. We have yet to even hit that monthly um, fair value gap right here. So I'm expecting price to dig inside, which would be above this swing high as well. Very nice confluence here, right? And that's for Bitcoin. Gold. Right, so if we are expecting bullish prices for the XY, then gold will like gold will take a pause, right, in going up here. Does it need to get up here? It does not. Okay. So if you use to swing low to swing high, let's just use let me just use this order block here. No, sorry, but this one. Swing the last swing high to swing low. Okay. We barely closed above 2.5. So I want to see if it wants to reach up here, right? This area here, as I've mentioned before, it's for retracements and reversals. And when you look at the candle closure right here, just slightly above 2.5. Okay, so right here we have a bearish fair value gap for gold, right? So taking profits here is really crucial because as we were anticipating the XY to rally, dollar would do the opposite. All right, so it's returning back into this huge inefficiency right here. Right. If it takes out this swing low here, then obviously in the short term, order flow would be bearish. Right. Heading over to the monthly time frame, we don't really have anything on the monthly chart except for this mean threshold of the order block right here. Okay. Preferably, I do not want to see something like a low taken out on the monthly. Preferably, especially this low because this was the swing low that brought the highs here. Okay, so this could just be enough to send the price lower. As right here, the if you look at the bigger picture, it's um it's in somewhat of an accumulation above all-time highs. I mean the previous all-time highs back in 2011. So let's see how this plays out. But so far, order flow is bearish for now. Okay, for gold, right? Moving forward, um, let's go over to individual stocks. Let's start off with our usual Tesla. Okay, for Tesla right here, personally, I would prefer this breaker to hold. I mean, not breaker, but the balanced price range to hold. So, if I was for something, then obviously I would use this right here as the balanced price range. Okay, so I would like to see some support over here to send the price higher. If not, then invalidation would be this swing low here, and if we are able to close below the swing low, then obviously we would be looking at $89 for Tesla. Okay, but so far order flow is still bullish, and I'm looking for 314 to be taken out, and I want to see if it wants to reach higher into this range here. But it's not gonna, I don't think it's gonna create equal highs, but we shall see, right? And above the equal highs, I will have targets right up here. Okay, so I'm gonna remove this, right? Targets right up here, and that's it for Tesla. Let's move on to Palantir. Right, so same thing for Palantir. We anticipated price to reach up slightly into this breaker, and then look at what happened. The reaction was very nice, and it's also above the fourth standard deviation, price was not able to close above the fourth standard deviation. Okay, after piercing it. So right now we're looking for a possible reversal for Palantir. Okay, so reversal to what levels? I'm personally looking at over here, this area here. Okay, so why is that so? Because over here, this would be the balanced price range. So if you're bullish, you do not want to see price starts to trade below this level here. And if price starts to do so, then we will look for the sell sides. Okay. Obviously, if you're looking at this entire range, right? Price just hit above. I mean, just went above premium, and then it's coming back down into discount. Okay. So let's see for Palantir, but obviously because the indices are bearish, stocks are going to be bearish as well, which is why my focus is targets below, right? Possible targets below, and I have this balanced price range right here with the bullish breaker. So this is the lowest that I can accept for Palantir to so-called retrace to, right? Anything below here, sell side, it's more likely. Okay, moving on, we have what else? Meta. Right. So far nothing on the weekly, but on the monthly, we have reached the consequent encroachment of this order block right here. Okay, the wick, right? 309. Oops, wrong annotation. 314.9. Okay, it's slightly trading above it. Okay, closing above it even. So for Meta, obviously, I would much prefer this entire range to hold the price. Okay, I don't want to see price trade below 231 for continue. I mean for continuation higher. So if I were to use the order blocks to do the projections, right? Swing. I mean the lowest. I mean these two down close candle makes up one order block. Okay, the bullish order block. So I'm looking for price to reach up into this level here and want to see if it wants to close above, and if so, then we can reach the fourth standard deviation right here. Okay, that's for Meta. Next we have Nvidia. Right, so Nvidia here, same thing. Looking for retracements into 2 to 2.5, taking out this swing low and see if price wants to trade higher. Obviously, that would be this low here, which would come in around um, 3 373 373 right here. Okay, so um, basically, I'm looking at something like this from here to here, and then from here lower, right? So it's gonna take out this. For me, I'm thinking that it's gonna take out the highs here, right? But at the same time, if you have noticed, we have three drives higher: one, two, and three. Above what? Above the previous all-time highs. So this is more like a topping pattern, right? So let's see if it wants to fully reverse, or it's going to come back up again. But because overall I am on a yearly basis, I am bullish for equities unless proven otherwise. So I'm gonna look for a retracement down into this level here, and then back up into at least the fourth standard deviation. Okay, that's for Nvidia. Moving on, Amazon. 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 Let me just take a look. I don't like how we have equal lows down here. Okay, at 81, 81.3. And what else? It's trading up into this balanced price range. Right, so obviously it's going to find some resistance, just as before. And then any retracements into this fair value gap here would be a good opportunity for a long to take out the highs here. All right, that is for Amazon. Okay, heading down lower to the weekly chart. Yep, the weekly chart is a little bit messy, but if you look at the highs here, it looks a little bit too flat, right? So let's use the last order block. Let me see here. Here, this one to this one. Yep, this one. Right, so basing off this info, that would be the fourth standard deviation over here. If I were to just, I think, yep. Let me just take a look. Yeah, similar. So let's see. It's a little bit tough for this for the Amazon chart. Right. So same thing for other stocks as well, but I'm not too sure based on the projections where it's gonna go. But I'm really liking this equal highs up here. Okay. Maybe after we trade above this high, we'll see if it wants to extend higher. But for now, I would much prefer retracements down into the monthly fair value gap with the proportion of the block right here. Okay, that's for Amazon, and I think that's for you for the US stocks, right? Am I missing out on any popular trending stocks? Okay, I don't think so. Right, so let's move on to China. Let's start off with HSI as usual. Right. Let me just organize the chart a little bit. Okay. For HSI, anything above here, I'll switch my bearish bias. But so far, To me, it's still bearish. We're just in a sideways consolidation since this candle was closed, right? On this week itself, the closing of this week, I mentioned that we are gonna go sideways for the next few candles, and I was obviously not really interested to take on a bias for the Chinese market, right? So right now, so far it has taken the highs here and then reversing back down. So I want to see if price can extend below this balanced price range, and if it is able to do so, I will be looking at this sell side here, okay, and the sell side right here, right? So using this high to the low, that will put us about 1.5, and if you want to overextend, that's up to you here. So let's see if it's going to give that movement lower, right? Anything that is within this range here, okay, between the purple shaded area and red shaded area, anything between here is just a sideways consolidation. Nothing really much that's going on. You can trade in the intraday, but not, I don't think it's worth my time. So that's for the Chinese equities. But I want you to take note of the highs here, right? This higher high for HSI, and then we move into Alibaba. Okay, so Alibaba right here made a lower high. So if it was a correlation, you would expect to see a higher high right here, but since it hasn't give that, since it didn't do that, I'm anticipating Alibaba to be bearish. Okay, more bearish than HSI. All right. So what do we have here? Basically the same market profile for HSI, but for Baba, it's slightly leaning to the upside. Okay. So what's my interest in Baba right here? For Baba, I want to see if price can trade up into this area, okay, these levels here, and then I want to see it break down to take out the lows here. Okay, right. So how far can it go below the low? Right, and anyways, invalidation will be up here. I don't really want to see the price trade up to this family gap. I want this, or rather this, to remain open, unfilled and untapped. So up here and then lower, that would be the best case scenario for Baba. All right, on the 3 month chart, obviously swing high here, low, higher high, trading below the low. Okay, use the if you use the fibs, it's not gonna give you premium, right? Premium would be this order block right here and this fair value gap right here. But because we have a breaker right here, I think it's not gonna come back up into premium for you to be able, for you to be able to get out of your positions. Let's say if you are um, back holding Baba right here. Okay, I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they're just gonna keep it heavy and then run down here for capitulation. After that, take all your orders, sell it to them, and then they run it higher. That's what I think it's gonna happen for Alibaba. So moving on to the monthly time frame. Right, so as long as we do not close below the monthly order blocks mean threshold, which is 72, or we don't trade ridiculously below here, like aggressively below here, then I think overall I would much prefer to look for the buy stops above. But if you look at the monthly chart, even though there is a inefficiency on the 3-month chart, right here on the monthly chart, it's fully balanced. Okay, there is no inefficiency that was untapped, except for if you really want to force it, the consequent encroachment of this um, wick right here. That would be a inefficiency that has yet to be reached into. So if you really want to force something here, then this would be the level that you'll be looking at. That would be around 141, right? But so far, nothing really concrete similar to HSI. Okay, and let's move on to new. All right, so for new, um, let me see. I think there will be something on a weekly. Okay, right. So personally, I'll be looking at this um, gap here to be used as support to go higher if it wants to really retrace that deep. Okay, but in any case, that if it closes below this swing low here, then we will look for a even lower inefficiency, which would be right around 580 for new. Okay, 580, right? Yep, I think this is for new. Okay, the price action doesn't really seem. I don't like the structure right here, right? All this up trend did not give a single swing low except for the lowest low. Right, so as fast as it moves up, it's gonna come back down the same way if it's gonna reverse. So I'll be highly cautious of new. Okay, if you take a closer look, it's trading back up into the breaker right here. Look at the breaker. The lowest down close candle. Is this a down close candle? Open and close. Okay, technically this is a down close candle, but I would much prefer to use this one, a beefier one, right? And then you have this little um, gap right here. So if you put it across, okay, you can see that there is no price closures above this level here, right? This candle, yes, it opened up above, but it closes back in. All right, I'm gonna take a pause here. All right, so I took a pause. Need to settle some stuff. So let's continue. The last one actually will be JD and maybe Tencent. So last two, JD and Tencent. So for JD, right? So far nothing much. I'm looking at this volume balance to see if it wants to reach up there, but obviously for Chinese equities, my bias is all to the downside. To me, the charts looks bearish, so I'm just gonna lean on that. And nothing really clear for JD. Okay, but let's say if it closes below this low here, then I want to see acceleration down to, I think, minimum $30 and then 25. Okay, on the monthly chart, there's nothing here. 3 month, anything on 3 month, nothing as well. So let's see if it wants to accelerate down in, yeah, because if you, I mean, take a look over here, it did not respect this breaker at all. Low, high, and lower low, and then price trades up higher. It was only in this quarter that the breaker was respected, closing up above and then trades up into this area here, but refuses to trade higher into this volume imbalance here. So technically, you can. I mean, I'm gonna use this as a breakaway gap. So this is gonna be. This indicates a bearishness, and then after that, it just comes down, closing below. I mean, trades below this order block here, and then up here again. Just some really choppy price action. Okay. So right now, if I would like to annotate, I'll annotate the mid level of this entire wick, but I'm not gonna do that because I don't really trade this, so it doesn't really matter, right? As you can see, this fair value gap, this inefficiency on a yearly chart, this inefficiency, it's disrespected. So nothing much for JD here, right? I'm just anticipating the low here, and then this low, and then probably the equal lows down here as well. Okay, right? Yep, that's for JD. And lastly, let's head over to Tencent. Yep, I always forgot the name. I mean, not name, but the acronym for Tencent. Okay, let's see the ticker for Tencent. Okay, let's see here. Same thing as HSI, sideways, and then let's take a look at monthly. Yep. So if you're bullish, you really want to see this fair value gap holds, right? But so far it's not showing a willingness to, you know, wanting to go higher. So yeah, I'll be looking at these lows here for Tencent. Right. Other than that, if I see anything concrete, I'll definitely point it out. So right as of now, I don't have any concrete bias just yet. Okay, and that's it for this video. If you find this insightful, do leave a like, and if you have any questions, do leave it in the comment section down below. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend, and signing out.